Cool. Taking the front back off. Obviously the carburetor's off. I assume this was filled up with gas. Really, when a engine is flooded, the spark plug is flooded. The gas is inside where the cylinder is, so the spark plug can't fire because it's flooded with gas. But in my experience on my other outboard, when I would drain the bowl, because it had a way to do that, the bowl would become flooded with gas, and I would drain it, and then it would fire back up again. So already a bunch of gas is poured out of here, probably out of the lines, but maybe also out of the bowl. So I'll take the bowl off and look at it just for the heck of it, and I'll also take this jet screw out, which I believe is what that is. I'm interested to see if there's a main nozzle in there, because the one on my Honda carburetor is missing, and I remember nozzle falling out. Am I putting it back in? I look in the Honda carburetor and there's no main nozzle in there, which is a really hard piece to get, and I'm trying to figure out if I'm losing my mind or not. So if there's a main nozzle in there, which there ought to be, then that was this carb, and the Honda carb never had one in the first place. But that's a whole nother problem. Also, sorry about my voice. I still have some sort of sinus-like cold. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna look in here. We're gonna look in here. We're going to poke around with the carburetor. Okie dokie. This carburetor seems to be relatively cooperative as far as screws work well, the gasket's in good condition. Somebody must have replaced these, I guess, because they look so good. So this ought to pop right off of here. Let's see who's in there. Oh boy, it's hard to do with one hand, but I just got to share. Alright, so there's your float bowl. Excuse me. The float. Here's the bowl. Oh boy, that gasket's looking pretty crappy. Not a lot of gas in there. Alright, we're going to go in for closer inspection. Looks pretty clean. I've already been in here before, so I thought it was clean in the first place. Not exactly sure what to do about this gasket. I might put some gasket maker, clean that off, and put some gasket maker on there before I investigate this situation. Okay, I've made some important discoveries. Let's see if I can figure out how to do my camera work and my explaining at the same time. Excuse me. I scraped that down with the razor blade as best I could. I'm going to dry that off and think about putting some gasket maker on there. But what I really wanted to know, let's see if we can situate this where it's not going to fall, is the deal with this. I remember when I was cleaning a carb, I took off the screw, turned it upside down to spray it out, and a little piece fell out. What that piece is called is the main nozzle. And I thought maybe I had done that on the Honda carburetor I was mentioning earlier. And I had just lost it, and I was losing my mind. I didn't put it back in, although I thought I remembered putting it back in. But that was never the Honda carb. The Honda carb has never had a main nozzle in it. Dink! It was this one all along. So I wasn't losing my mind. My Honda carb has never had that main nozzle part, which is unbelievably difficult to find, and for which I have ordered a new one that's not the correct one. We're just going to see if the closest thing I could find possible will work in the Honda carb. But that solves that mystery, if you follow me. So I'm going to put this back together, having cleaned it as best I could again, and try and fire this thing up again. I'm going to take that off and look in there as well, spray that out. But that's about as much as can be done for this that I'm aware of, unless it's missing a part. Seems like it's good to go. We shall see. Here's how we're going to do this gasket business. I'll try to pick up the camera here. Okay, so I've got a blob of gasket maker, and I've got a little tiny paintbrush. What I'm going to do, see if we can get the paintbrush where it needs to be. is I'm going to paint around this part, which is leaning pretty comfortably right here in my little towel. And then I'm going to take the carburetor and flip it over on top of this once it's got the gasket maker on there. From there, I should be able to flip the whole thing upside down and screw it down. Then we'll let it dry, and then it'll be time for more stoking. Last screw. Now this gasket maker step may not have been necessary, but I believe in general in putting in effort as opposed to letting it slide. Just as a general rule, it's hard to even get going without that sort of mindset. So the mindset is, the more effort you put in, the better results you'll get. So here I am, putting in a little bit more effort. Alright, this carb should be good. Put it back on there and let it dry, and then try and start her again. That's not it. Oh, what's this? Why did that happen? Who knows? Let's keep trying it. Alright, so there's something wrong with the throttle. It's in the wrong spot. Oh, probably if I had just thrown this into run. Cool. Whew. Huh. I have to stop doing this on the porch, making a mess.